Federation's nuclear arsenal and their ability to evade U.S. missile defense systems. This has resulted in a flurry of statements Friday from NATO and its member nations saying Putin's statement was unacceptable and that it was counterproductive to efforts to shore up arms control agreements. U.S. President Trump, along with French President Emmanuel Macron and German Chancellor Angela Merkel, all spoke Friday about the matter, expressing serious concern about what Putin had said and its impact on arms control. Yet all these attempts by the West to position themselves as favoring arms control and Putin undermining it are a dramatic revision of the past several years, which have seen the U.S. repeatedly threatening to withdraw from such deals on the basis of perceived Russian violations. Indeed, a Putin statement came just on the heels of President Trump's own public statements vowing to dramatically grow the U.S. nuclear arsenal in the name of having a superior arsenal to the Russians, with talks of efforts at lower yield, more usable nuclear arms, and bringing U.S. nukes to bear in retaliation for things like cyber attacks.
You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates, like Namecheap and Amazon, at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. Or you can shop directly from FPP with Bitcoin in the Bitcoin store. That's shop.fppradio.com.
UPI reports drivers for ride-hailing companies Uber and Lyft earn a median profit of $3.37 per hour before taxes, according to a research study published on Friday. The study from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, analyzed fiscal data from about 1,100 independent contractor drivers and was performed by the MIT Center for Energy and Environmental Policy Research. According to the report, just under 75% of drivers earned less than the prevailing minimum wage in their state, and about 30% said they actually lose money when vehicle expenses are factored in. The study found the driver's median income was 59 cents per mile. When operating expenses, insurance, vehicle maintenance, depreciation, repairs, and fuel are included, that figure is reduced to 29 cents per mile. With the IRS's standard deduction of 54 cents per mile, drivers for Uber and Lyft can declare a loss on their tax returns. The tax deduction is higher than the actual cost per mile, facilitating an estimated $4.8 billion in untaxed income, according to MIT. The study said these numbers suggest that approximately 74% of driver profit is untaxed.
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
Reuters reports 9 students from the University of California, Santa Barbara suffered an apparent mass overdose of prescription opioids at a party and were taken to local hospitals, according to police. The Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office said in a statement that sheriff's deputies and paramedics responded to an emergency call and found a young man unconscious in the back of a car at about 10 p.m. Thursday night. Other students at the gathering told deputies that the victim, who was rushed to a local hospital, had ingested alcohol along with an unknown amount of the pain reliever OxyContin. Deputies on the scene discovered a second male who had stopped breathing and exhibited signs of an overdose. They revived him with a dose of naloxone before transporting him to the hospital. 7 more students, all of whom had taken a blue pill, were ultimately found exhibiting symptoms of an overdose and were taken to hospitals. 8 of the students have been released from hospitals as of late Friday evening. The remaining student was expected to be released over the weekend. According to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, 19,410 people died from fentanyl and other synthetic opioids in 2016. Experts say that mass overdose in one location are extremely rare. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
The NFL announces a new zero-tolerance policy on videotaped domestic violence. A puzzled nation can remember the name Ferguson, but is not sure from where. And a man wearing an M&M jacket is apparently made in God's image. This is the Onion Week in Review. Tech giant Apple unveiled a brief, fleeting moment of excitement to the general public. The short-lived, ephemeral sense of wonder was released in front of an exclusive group of reporters and industry insiders at Apple's Silicon Valley headquarters.
Apple really made us wait, but this rapidly diminishing glimmer of pleasure was totally worth it. It was 100% better than any other temporary joys I've ever experienced.
And in this week's local news, an uneasy détente forms between a man sitting on a patio and a bee. In other news, a poll finds 80% of Americans would get in a vehicle with a stranger for a chance at a new life. Bank of America introduces a new $50 underdraft fee, and the nation's huggers announce plans for you to get over here.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. We'll give you the toll-free call-in lines here momentarily where you can call in and join us and bring up whatever is on your mind. The us in studio tonight are Darryl,
Jonny Ray,
and Mark.
And Jonny, you have brought something rather interesting to the proverbial table tonight, and it has to do with Donald Trump's proposed tariff on imported steel and aluminum. And we talked about these tariffs a good bit on Friday night, where Trump wants to first introduce a 10% tariff on imported aluminum, impose a 25% tariff on imported steel, and then something that he is calling reciprocal tariffs that would match whatever other country tariffs are on U.S. exports. And Jonny, you've got a story about a company saying that, well, they'll go out of business instead of continuing to do something?
No, not quite that drastic, Darryl.
Okay.
I have a story from ABC News. Electrolux halts Tennessee project after tariff announcement.
Okay. So they're just halting a specific project. They're not halting business altogether.
No. Electrolux says its plans for a $250 million plant expansion in Tennessee are on hold, and the Swedish appliance maker is citing President Donald Trump's tariff announcement as the reason. Electrolux's investment plans included modernizing and adding 400,000 square feet to the plant in Springfield. Construction was slated to begin later this year. The company is pointing to Trump's announcement of new tariffs on imported aluminum and steel. In a statement to the Tennessean, company spokesperson Eloise Hale says that decision gives foreign appliance manufacturers, quote, a cost advantage that is hard to compete against. Hale says the company is still evaluating the tariff announcement, but is so concerned about the potential impact that it put the Springfield project on hold until Trump's order is signed and final details are clear. And the story was interesting to me because it deals with the seen and the unseen. And I've just been getting very angry when I hear the news coverage and I see words like dumping and glut.
Yeah.
And these are good things because it means that more is being produced and it's cheaper and more available, and that's how society marches on.
I really thought that we had put this whole tariffs are a good idea thing to bed. That not everybody would think it, but that enough people would think that tariffs are a bad idea that we just didn't have to deal with this anymore. The fact is, free trade, even if it's only going in one direction, benefits the nation that has the free trade.
Right, but the problem that we run into is we have a president that does not understand basic economics. He was posting on Twitter, and we read the tweets on Friday where he was posting about the trade deficits with other countries and how trade deficits are just absolutely unacceptable. Well, Ian also had a trade deficit earlier today, as did you and I, Mark, where we all went to supper.
Yep.
And we had a trade deficit with a local burger place.
Right. Local burger never buys anything from you, do they?
They have never purchased anything from me, but I gladly give them my dash every Sunday in exchange for pork and curd fries.
Mm-hmm. Now, this particular story what it specifically puts me in mind of are American manufacturers who are going to be hurt by it, because they have inputs that include steel and aluminum, and if they have to pay more for them, then they're going to have trouble selling their products.
Right.
They're going to be at a competitive disadvantage.
We were talking about how the cost of beer is going to wind up going up because the vast majority of cans that are used for beverages come from imported aluminum. The aluminum manufacturers in the United States are at the lowest levels of production since 1951, and production has dropped every year over the last 5 years. There's no way that the U.S.-based companies that mine for aluminum are going to be able to make up the difference of whatever amount of aluminum doesn't get imported because of these tariffs. And then some people think that, tariff, that means that the foreign company pays. No. It means that you and I, the end consumer, wind up paying. That cost gets added to us.
Yeah, it drives up prices. And
that's akin to saying that a sales tax means that the grocery store winds up paying.
I think that the best argument for tariffs is that there are times when countries have decided that they want to support a particular industry. So, for instance, China decides they want to subsidize the Chinese steel companies to the detriment of U.S. steel companies, to the point that they will run somebody out of business. And certainly one can claim that, for instance, manufacturing of toasters in the United States doesn't exist anymore. A lot of manufacturing in the United States that used to exist simply doesn't exist anymore. It's hard to even get a T-shirt that was made in the U.S. And if they run it out of business, then they raise the prices back up to a market level after they've subsidized for 5 years or whatever and killed off their competition. I think it's the best argument in the case of tariffs, but still, it's counter to economics.
I think it's right. I think that's sort of a myth and a hypothetical that's good to come up with and scare people with, but it doesn't bear out in the real world. I heard a story about Standard Oil and Rockefeller. Is that right?
Yes.
And a group of European petroleum competitors, people who were in the same industry as he was, used a tactic against him to sell at bare bottom rates in order to take away all his business, and then the idea was that they would go back to a more normal market price after he had been run out of town. And what he did is he bought supplies from them and then resold them at the market rate, and it didn't work. It didn't work at all. So it's like a what if scenario that doesn't actually work. The only way that you can have a monopoly is with government coercion and support.
Right, and even then, there's always going to be somebody that attempts to compete. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And I say that you're still going to have people try to compete even when you do have these government-backed, government-enforced monopolies. Let's look at AT&T. Back before being split up in, 1983, 1984?
Thereabouts.
Where they wound up being, the phone company, and I'm using air quotes there, where there were still a handful of small telephone service providers in really small towns. But, for the most part, AT&T was the phone company because government. Government said, we will only have one telephone service provider in this area. We will only have one telephone company that provides long-distance service. And, AT&T, you invented this service, so you get the contract. And then government said, wait a second, we have a problem here. There's a monopoly that we created. But I don't think the Supreme Court ever acknowledged that, it was government that created the monopoly that AT&T had. Again, there were attempts to be competitors. They just weren't ever really allowed to actually compete
Because government.
It's part of the human makeup to want to engage in commerce and to compete in business. People are always going to do it. They're always going to, because there's always going to be people who know how to do it better, and they're going to try and sell that to the public. Another aspect to consider coming up in the next segment of Free Talk Live.
Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. What are your thoughts on tariffs, monopolies, and a possible war with North Korea? Well, at least one U.S. senator says it would be worth it. This is Free Talk Live.
What is it costing you in vet bills for that convenience of just pulling open a bag of
formulated, extruded, processed cereal bits that cost a ton of money anyways?
How do you feed your dog to derive not only energy, but a good coat, bright eyes, and a great attitude?
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
I found his raw meat diet on Dinovite.com.
With just the raw meat and the eggs and the Dinovite and the Super Omega on top of it.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Ground beef, white rice, eggs, including the shells, and the Dinovite supplement, and then the Lico Chops.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
It just balances out his body and his mind and his spirit.
Adding Dinovite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
Their skin is so much better now that they're on the raw diet. I don't even give them the kibble anymore.
DINOVITE.com.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. 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 I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We're talking about tariffs, which in turn relates to shopping and how tariffs wind up increasing the cost of when you do business, specifically when you, as a consumer, go shopping. But something that will not cost you more when you go shopping is to first go to shop.freetalklive.com. Yeah, it takes you a few extra seconds to...
Oh, so it costs you seconds.
But not money.
Are you lying to the audience?
Time is money, my friend.
There's cost.
Time is money.
Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and then from there you can bookmark Walmart, Amazon UK, Amazon Canada. Unfortunately, not Amazon US. They broke up with us for explaining what an affiliate program does. But there are other sites that you can go to from shop.freetalklive.com. And again, go there, bookmark the sites that you want, and then just click the bookmarks. No extra steps needed. Shop.freetalklive.com.
The story we're talking about with the tariffs, there was one final perspective I wanted to share with it from the great Walter Williams. I don't know how you guys feel about Dr. Williams. I grew up hearing him sub in for Rush Limbaugh.
Yep.
And he's great.
I met him back in 2004.
Oh, good for you, Darryl.
Yes.
So I would encourage everyone to think of the economy as something, the global economy as something that we all participate in.
And he's got a very unique perspective on endangered species.
Oh, well, you'll have to tell me about that.
Yes.
But he was talking about tariffs and trade, and I want us to consider ourselves as well. I'll just give you the picture that he paints, and he talks about global actors in trade being in the same boat. So we're in a boat, and we're in the same boat with the Chinese, and we take, in order to supposedly,
we're going to need a bigger boat.
Good one. To wage a trade war, we shoot a hole on their side of the boat, and they get upset about that. So in order to retaliate,
put the holes on their side of the boat, so we're not going to sink because it's their side of the boat.
In order to retaliate and to improve their situation, they take out a pistol and they shoot a hole in our side of the boat. So nobody's being helped. We're all trading together and working to make a better world and a more prosperous world. And then you've got these grifters, people calling themselves the government, who want to referee it and dip their hand into the commerce and take their share, even though they're not contributing anything to it.
Right. They want to do what Bastiat referred to as legal plunder.
Yeah. They're not gonna. You can make a plausible argument for anything. So if somebody tells them that if somebody tells Donald Trump that he can help the American steel worker by stealing money from people freely engaging in the steel trade, he'll do it. This seems like another example of him just believing whatever the last person said to him.
Right. And there was actually a report, totally getting off topic here, but there was the report where, what was it, 2 days after he made the statement of take guns now, due process later, he had a meeting with the NRA and he totally 180'd his position and no, I'm not going to take guns and due process is a thing that exists, something blah blah blah. So totally just agreeing with the last person that he talked with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't think that these new tariffs are going to stand. I don't think they're going to be enacted. I think the smart people in the room are going to talk him out of it. They're not going to let it happen.
Can the president unilaterally impose a tariff?
He's doing it under the aegis of national security. The president can do these kinds of things on commodities that support our defense. Basic commodities like steel.
So all you've got to do is say national security, and you can do whatever you want.
Right.
round up all the Japanese Americans, put them in concentration camps. Anybody speaking German in public, just arrest them because national security. Anybody that's, a little darker skinned, that might say Allah in public, just lock them up. No due process because national security. Is that basically what we're talking about here that the president can do?
Well, more specifically, we're talking about taking an excuse, the national security excuse, to meddle in strictly economic and trade affairs. But yeah, you could apply
national security could apply to anything.
Yeah.
Your calls and thoughts. Welcome, 855-450-FREE. And we've actually got Zach calling in from New York, listening online. Zach, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Good evening. I was wondering if you were familiar with Anthony Cumia and his Compound Media Network that he founded about 4 years ago.
Isn't he the guy from Opie and Anthony?
Yes, he is, indeed.
I know the name, but I know nothing about the media company that he created.
He got in trouble for saying some stuff on their podcast or on their satellite channel, and basically SiriusXM fired him, and so he went off to do his own thing, and I really haven't heard too much since then.
So what about it, Zach?
Well, they've expanded their programming from just Anthony Cumia's show to now they have at least a half a dozen, if not more, specifically In Hot Water, You're Welcome with Michael Malice, and the New York City Crime Report, which is a comedy show where they just talk about interesting crimes and funny things that happen. But it has been renamed the Free Speech Network because in light of the potential shutdown, it's inevitable of Alex Jones' channel, it's one of the last remaining beacons of free speech that is out there. And it's very, very entertaining stuff. And I was just wondering what you guys thought about free speech in media and where it's at right now.
I think generally, you can say what you want out there. You're not going to likely get censored as a result. Obviously, if you say something that's sufficiently a deviation from the norm, it's unlikely that you're going to get major distribution on major channels. But major channels are becoming less and less important over time. Like, for instance, I saw the Joe Rogan Experience is in the top 10 podcasts in the world. Joe's beholden to nobody. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's okay. There are times here in the United States when reporters will be forced to give information that they shouldn't have to give due to their confidentiality privilege. But all in all, yeah, I think you can say pretty much what you want.
You're welcome.
What is really
You're welcome with Michael Malice is excellent.
Yes, he's funny.
I'll leave it at that.
I know nothing about the guy other than he wrote the book Dear Reader about Kim Jong-un.
He and his team beat Free Talk Live and Family Feud at PorcFest a few years ago.
What is very interesting is that Anthony Cumia is the one that inspired Joe Rogan to build his studio in the first place. That's where it all started, with Anthony Cumia.
So he couldn't be kicked off of the air someplace?
Zach, thank you.
Oh, yeah, no, he's got like 50,000 plus subscribers now.
Zach, thank you for the call. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
Tired of being censored by Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Patreon? Well, now you don't have to be. OneWay.com is the free speech and human-friendly social network built just for you. Stop feeding the beast. Every post you make on those evil, anti-human, anti-American perverted sites helps them destroy our families, our country, and our souls. Join One Way today and take back your liberty. Your free speech alternative is waiting for you at OneWay.com. OneWay.com.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. I'm here to tell you about GCNtelecare.com, a team of board-certified doctors assisting you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Within 15 minutes of registration, care your family can afford. Revolutionizing the healthcare industry, virtual consulting providing diagnosis of non-emergency medical issues by phone or secure video on computer or smart mobile devices. GCNtelecare.com. Virtual care anywhere.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are
having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio, it's Darryl,
Jonny Ray,
and Mark.
And we've been talking about economic-related things. And I came across this report a couple of days ago on UPI about Uber and Lyft, and the surprising claim by some researchers at MIT about the incredibly low wages earned by drivers working for Uber and Lyft. And Jonny, you're aware of what Uber and Lyft are?
Yes, I am. They're ride-sharing services.
Yes, and I've heard people say, oh, yeah, go work for Uber and Lyft. You can make a lot of money working for Uber and Lyft.
Well, I mean, you could certainly go get a job and work when you want to work. I mean, it gives you some flexibility. But go ahead.
But interesting claim here, according to researchers, again, from MIT. They say that people driving for Uber and Lyft earn a median profit of $3.37 per hour before taxes. The study analyzed
I can't imagine they're paying much in taxes if they are making that.
Well, we'll get into that towards the end of the article, but MIT analyzed fiscal data from about 1,100 independent contractor drivers, and the study was performed by the MIT Center for Energy and Environmental Policy Research.
According to the report, just under 75% of the drivers earned less than the prevailing minimum wage in their state, and about 30% said they actually lost money once factoring in vehicle expenses. The study found the driver's median income was 59 cents per mile. Once operating expenses, insurance, vehicle maintenance, depreciation, repairs, and fuel are included, the figure is reduced to 29 cents per mile. With the IRS standard deduction of 54 cents per mile, drivers for Uber and Lyft actually are able to declare a loss on their tax returns. So your statement of they're not paying very much tax, yep. And
they're probably getting paid basically welfare through the income tax form.
The study here says that the numbers suggest that approximately 74% of driver profit is untaxed, facilitating an estimated $4.8 billion in untaxed income. Now, I find it interesting, the low wage that is reported here. And I'm also kind of disturbed by sort of the conclusion that they reach of, oh, well, these people are evading taxes by making low amounts of money.
Yeah, I had the same reaction to the story that I have, that half of the story seems to be about the 54-cent per mile deduction and how that means that the U.S. government isn't going to be getting tax money from the Lyft and Uber drivers.
Yeah, and, that's not fair. The U.S. government shouldn't be getting tax money from anybody.
Well, I think it's worth pointing out that about, best I can tell, so I think I looked up in 2009, there were 300 and something million people in the United States, 144 million tax returns filed. Some of those tax returns are joint.
Yes.
So I decided that that was going to be half. I just picked it, it's,
right.
it's,
And
it's about
I've
half
looked at
of
the
Americans.
numbers more recently than that, and it's still about half.
About half of Americans file a tax return. About half of those people that file a tax return pay something in federal income tax. I'm not talking about FICA. I'm not talking about Social Security.
And you're not talking about people that on April 15th have to cut a check. You are talking about people that have a net negative that goes to the IRS. So,
right.
Some of these people might get a refund, but the refund is not greater to or equal than the amount that was deducted from their check.
So FICA, Social Security, and all that stuff still goes through the IRS. I'm talking about federal income tax. It's a particular tax that is taken out of withholding, or you've got to pay it directly. So about a quarter of Americans, from what I can tell, actually pay federal income tax. Now, one might wonder, why are we filing these things at all if we don't get paid half? Well, the reason is because that other half, there's a few people out there that get zero, right?
Right.
But basically, some people pay a little bit above, some people get a little bit back because, there's really some money that's given away. The Republicans, who don't like welfare, decided that they wanted to include welfare inside of the tax return so that more people would file their tax return.
Is that the earned income tax credit?
Yeah, that's a head of household and all that other stuff. Yes.
That's definitely part of it. And then there are other things of, standard deductions and this extra deduction and itemized deduction. And then there's something to where if you make over certain amounts of money, you have this alternative minimum thing. And I read something recently that I think it was Jeff Bezos wound up because of something he actually paid no income tax last year. So, there's all kinds of weird things to where, if you live a lifestyle that we approve of, then we'll let you deduct that. You want a house, Johnny? We'll let you deduct off the mortgage interest, or maybe not, because that's one of those political footballs that every couple of years gets sort of thrown around. But, you have a bunch of children. We like people that reproduce. We'll give you extra deductions. You do this. We like that. We'll give you deductions. Oh, you do this other thing? Yeah, we're not going to give you deductions for that. Oh, you live in a state that has a local sales tax? We'll let you deduct off the amount of sales tax you paid from your income, from your federal income tax.
but we're not going to necessarily let you deduct your property tax if it's above a certain amount. And these are all sorts of things that, they're these weird political footballs to encourage certain lifestyles.
That much is true. There's, ultimately what it comes down to in this is the government, really only about 10% of the U.S. population is paying really anything of any note into federal income tax. And one might wonder why we're all threatened over having to fill out this paperwork.
Because, see, we want you to wind up ratting on yourself because your employers are sending us papers. And then if what you send us doesn't match up with what they send us, even though what they send us could be inaccurate, we're going to believe what they send us. So just go ahead and, rat on yourself and tell us how much of your money we wind up getting to keep.
Well, you do bring up an interesting point. So there's an implicit accusation that goes into filling out tax returns, right? So what I would say is remember, they could all end up in a court case. This is evidence in a court case.
Yes.
What I would say is that, look, I think I'm responsible for paying whatever you have evidence for that I made. Other than that, I'm not going to tell you any new information.
Right.
Why would I testify against myself?
If you actually want your IRS thing to go to court, you actually have to pay for them to hear it. So they will say, you gave us bad information. Do you want to appeal this or just give us money? And if you say, I want to appeal this, well, you've got to pay us money for us to hear the appeal.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not giving you a dime. Please remove me from your mailing list.
We'll see.
But of course, they're not actually going to do that because, it's not a voluntary interaction.
They pretty much removed Ian from their mailing list.
No, they sent him letters in Spanish a couple of years ago.
Yeah, a few years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to update their files.
Yes.
Hasn't paid in more than a decade.
Por favor, Senor Freeman, update your file, por favor.
Yeah.
Although it said a lot more words and he had to use Google Translate to figure out exactly what it said because he doesn't speak Spanish very well.
No.
Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Is your smartphone spying on you more than you thought? Maybe it is. We'll tell you about it. Plus your calls and thoughts. 855-450-FREE.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite for life.
Pick up 2 tubes of Doggo Suds.
Get the 3rd tube free.
Peppermint, tea tree, lavender, Doggo Sud shampoo.
Made with all-natural coconut, jojoba, aloe. Great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
But no itchy, harsh chemicals.
Lather up, rinse away.
Try Doggo Suds. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Message and data rates may apply.
Remembering when to change your fridge filter is a hassle. Remembering the right filter is almost impossible. So at Filters Fast, we have some good advice. Forget it. Instead, remember this. Text BEST 33 to 443 443 and check fridge filters off your to-do list forever. Get it all taken care of for a fraction of big box store prices with a Filters Fast brand filter. To see how much you can save, plus get free shipping, text BEST 33 to 443 443. With a huge range of brand name filters available, Filters Fast is America's #1 online filtration company. And you can get a Filters Fast brand filter for a fraction of the price, delivered to your door every time you need it. No need to remember. It's not a matter of if you need a fridge filter. Why not text to get it taken care of? To see how much you can save and get free shipping, text BEST 33 to 443 443. That's BEST 33 to 443 443.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We'll go back to the phones here in just a moment. But I want to make sure that I tell you about a wonderful online directory of liberty-minded businesses. This is something that libertarians of all stripes have wanted for years. And, well, we're helping build one. I'm talking about Liberty.menu. Liberty.menu, excellent name, by the way, is a tool for our community. At its core is a directory for events, businesses, and digital content, plus so much more. Listings can be rated and reviewed, kind of like on Yelp. And there's actually a bit of a social networking component built in so that you, as a user, can connect and share with other users. Use of Liberty.menu is exclusively for individuals who reject the initiation of force and those who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. Put your voluntarist ideas into action at Liberty.menu. Use code FTL to get a special badge. That's Liberty.menu. Code FTL. And again, that gets you a special FTL listener badge. Let's go back to the phones. We've got Duke calling in from South Jersey. Duke, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hey, how you doing, guys? Great show. Yeah, I was talking about, like, taxes in New Jersey is kind of high. We're a very high tax state, our property taxes and all. And basically, when you work during the year in a regular job, it depends on what you claim. Like if you claim 0, then you get a decent tax return at the end. If not, if you claim 2, then you get it weekly. So like there's nothing really to look forward to. And we have high property taxes. And myself, personally, I mean, I've been single my whole life, so I was really taxed. I never really had deductions. And, you know, and now that I'm older, I'm 57, I own my own home, I pay property taxes for schools and stuff. And I don't have any children, and I don't really believe that's all that fair for the single guy, you know?
Right. And going back to your statement about how you file on withholdings, the question that you really need to ask yourself is, do you really want to loan the federal government money at 0 interest? Because that's what happens when you wind up, filing
some high number and then they take out more and then you get a big refund at the end of the year. You're basically loaning them money without interest.
Exactly. What is the sense? I mean, personally, myself, I've always saved what I needed during the year and bought what I wanted anyway. I never really looked forward to some tax return that was going to save my life. If you want to, make more money, that's how you got to earn more money through the year if you actually want to get ahead. You know what I mean?
Yep. And there's a wonderful thing that the Tax Foundation calculates every year, and they've not updated it for 2018 yet. But they come up with what's called Tax Freedom Day, meaning that it's the date at which you start actually making money for yourself. Where
April or May?
It varies from state to state. So the national average for last year was April 23rd. Duke, you're calling in from Jersey. Tax Freedom Day in New Jersey last year was May 13th.
Well, I'll give you for instance, because I was a butcher first when I started out for 15 years in the casinos. Then I turned into a union carpenter. Now, in 2005, I went on an outside job, and we were doing 7/12s trying to get the building done, meaning 7 12-hour days.
Yep.
Well, I was grossing like $2,800 a month. I mean a week, and I was taking home like $1,600. So they would take half for taxes. The more money that you make, the more they take.
Oh yeah.
But I never complained because I was making really good money, and it's just that's what they do. They take your money. You can't fight City Hall. You just got to be glad you have a job and grin and bear it, right?
And then on top of those federal taxes, you also have your state and local taxes. And again, Tax Foundation shows that in 2017, the average American household spent more money on taxes than food, clothing, and housing combined.
Wow.
Well, think of it this way. In New Jersey, let's say you're making $50,000 a year. Okay, what are you taking home for your net? Like $33,000, something like that.
That might be what you take home, and then you have your local property taxes that you have to pay that don't get withheld from your paycheck. You've got local fuel tax. You've got local sales tax. There's all these other taxes that nickel and dime you. So at the end of the year, you're not making anywhere near, as far as actual profit, you don't have anywhere near what you're actually bringing home.
Well, no, you don't. But that's just the cost of living in America. We live in a free country. I mean, I never really looked at it that way. I just looked at it as, well, that's the expense. You got to pay your car insurance. Now they just hit us with a 28-cent gas tax on top of our gas. We're like the highest tax state in the country for property taxes. You know what I mean? Like my taxes are $5,300 for a small house, a rancher. But yet in Florida, they probably be like $1,500 for the year.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about taxes, let's presume that taxes are necessary for a moment in the conversation. What percentage of your income is the proper amount, and should it slide on a scale based on how much you make, and which percentage of the population should bear it, and that sort of thing? In the case of income taxes, really, it's the high income earners that pay the most in income tax. It's they get the middle class in things like property tax and all kinds of other gas tax and all kinds of other taxes, cell phone taxes, and all those sorts of things.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, but the top 1% of the earners in this country, like all these rich people, that's fine. I mean, they pay way more than the other people pay, but they actually make more too, and they're fortunate. And I don't fault them or blame them on anything that they want. I mean, they make the money. You know what I mean? Like that's in America, you can be whatever you want to be, and if you have the drive, you could be a millionaire, or you could have your own business. So I don't believe in people that like want to hand out and like this communist, Marxist, liberal agenda. Like, hey, you got the chance. This is the next guy. Some people are born into it, and some people make it on their own.
I love the sound of that. I don't think that's really the case in the United States today. Earlier, you said that we lived in a free country, and I don't.
Well, there's. Go ahead.
My data on that is that in the United States incarcerates per capita at a higher rate than any other country in the world. So I don't think that we're free because of that fact.
Well, we're free. We're free to do what we want as long as we don't break the law. Now New Jersey is
right,
is
but
a
there are
police
so many
state.
laws, Duke, to where there was a book written, what was it, about 15 years ago called 3 Felonies a Day, showing that the average person, unwittingly commits 3 felonies every single day. So everybody breaks the law. That there should not be so many laws that you're accidentally committing felonies.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Well, why don't they enforce the immigration laws? Look at what happens in our country in California and these other states, these liberal states. Why don't they enforce the laws that are on the books?
They've got a huge amount of border patrol and ICE agents and all that other stuff. They're attempting to enforce the law. This is what enforcing the law looks like.
Yeah. I understand that. But I'm not down on immigrants trying to come here, but come here the right way. You know what I mean?
Do you know what the right way is, Duke?
I really don't know what the procedure is because I was born here.
It costs on average about $15,000 and takes anywhere from 1 to 2 decades.
Wow, that's pretty long.
Yes.
I know for a fact that Chinese people that want to come here, they have no problem bringing the cash and coming here. And then they come here and they buy up real estate in Manhattan and all this, and they're very there are a lot of entrepreneurs that come here, and I understand that there's procedures, but I don't think there should be illegal crossings.
Well, illegal crossings really aren't the biggest problem when it comes to illegal immigrants. Most of them are here because they overstayed legal visas.
Yes, that is.
You're 100% right because I've known Russian women that have just come here and they just stay. They're in these jobs and all of a sudden they got a driver's license and they're into the system. Which, hey, I would, if you wanted to leave some country like Venezuela or some depressed place, I don't blame them for trying to come here.
Duke, thank you for the call. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Saturday, March 3rd, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.52 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,323 per ounce. Zen Cash is trading at $40, and the average price of Bitcoin is $11,412. Antiwar.com reports Russian President Vladimir Putin's State of the Nation address on Thursday came with a surprising amount of rhetoric about the development of the Russian Federation's nuclear arsenal and their ability to evade U.S. missile defense systems. This has resulted in a flurry of statements Friday from NATO and its member nations saying Putin's statement was unacceptable and that it was counterproductive to efforts to shore up arms control agreements. U.S. President Trump, along with French President Emmanuel Macron and German Chancellor Angela Merkel, all spoke Friday about the matter, expressing serious concern about what Putin had said and its impact on arms control. Yet all these attempts by the West to position themselves as favoring arms control and Putin undermining it are a dramatic revision of the past several years, which have seen the U.S. repeatedly threatening to withdraw from such deals on the basis of perceived Russian violations. Indeed, a Putin statement came just on the heels of President Trump's own public statements vowing to dramatically grow the U.S. nuclear arsenal in the name of having a superior arsenal to the Russians, with talks of efforts at lower yield, more usable nuclear arms, and bringing U.S. nukes to bear in retaliation for things like cyber attacks.
You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates, like Namecheap and Amazon, at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. Or you can shop directly from FPP with Bitcoin in the Bitcoin store. That's shop.fppradio.com.
UPI reports drivers for ride-hailing companies Uber and Lyft earn a median profit of $3.37 per hour before taxes, according to a research study published on Friday. The study from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, analyzed fiscal data from about 1,100 independent contractor drivers and was performed by the MIT Center for Energy and Environmental Policy Research. According to the report, just under 75% of drivers earned less than the prevailing minimum wage in their state, and about 30% said they actually lose money when vehicle expenses are factored in. The study found the driver's median income was 59 cents per mile. When operating expenses, insurance, vehicle maintenance, depreciation, repairs, and fuel are included, that figure is reduced to 29 cents per mile. With the IRS's standard deduction of 54 cents per mile, drivers for Uber and Lyft can declare a loss on their tax returns. The tax deduction is higher than the actual cost per mile, facilitating an estimated $4.8 billion in untaxed income, according to MIT. The study said these numbers suggest that approximately 74% of driver profit is untaxed.
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
Reuters reports 9 students from the University of California, Santa Barbara suffered an apparent mass overdose of prescription opioids at a party and were taken to local hospitals, according to police. The Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office said in a statement that sheriff's deputies and paramedics responded to an emergency call and found a young man unconscious in the back of a car at about 10 p.m. Thursday night. Other students at the gathering told deputies that the victim, who was rushed to a local hospital, had ingested alcohol along with an unknown amount of the pain reliever OxyContin. Deputies on the scene discovered a second male who had stopped breathing and exhibited signs of an overdose. They revived him with a dose of naloxone before transporting him to the hospital. 7 more students, all of whom had taken a blue pill, were ultimately found exhibiting symptoms of an overdose and were taken to hospitals. 8 of the students have been released from hospitals as of late Friday evening. The remaining student was expected to be released over the weekend. According to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, 19,410 people died from fentanyl and other synthetic opioids in 2016. Experts say that mass overdose in one location are extremely rare. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Today's most popular video games take place in dangerous post-apocalyptic landscapes. But are these games doing enough to prepare our kids for the actual post-apocalyptic future we will all soon face?
I think these games are quite effective at teaching our kids skills like finding shotgun ammo and leading elite squads of super soldiers.
But these aren't the advanced skills that they're going to need. They're going to need the more practical skills like how to find drinking water by collecting the morning dew in human skulls.
Or how to deal with depression when the sun is blocked out for 500 years by a cloud of radioactive dust.
Absolutely. Now, that's the type of knowledge these kids are going to need when their world has been turned into a brutal hellscape.
But these kids said that they know how to find items to barter at weapon shops and how to use medicine packs to heal zombie bites.
The games make it all seem deceptively simple. I mean, in the future, a kid's not going to be able to kill a 6-foot-long irradiated beetle just by pressing a few buttons, and he's going to have to get down there with an axe and hack and hack and hack.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. Kicking off hour number 2 in studio tonight. It's Darryl,
Jonny Ray,
and Mark.
Your calls and thoughts. Welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Question for you, Jonny.
Sure.
Do you have a smartphone?
Yes.
Is it tracking you everywhere you go?
You know it.
Mark?
Well, I mean, yeah, I would presume. Otherwise, it wouldn't be able to give you the information that you want on time, right? It is feeding and taking information from the towers all the time through data.
Yes. So it is able to locate as far as, yes, you have a signal, but do you expect that every movement you make is being tracked and recorded by some company because you have?
I wouldn't doubt it.
No, that wasn't the question. The question is that something you buy a phone?
Do you
expect that it's going to happen? Not do you doubt that it could happen or that it is happening, but do you expect it to happen just by the fact that you have purchased this thing called a smartphone?
Yes, I do expect it because what's what a reasonable person would expect at this point. It's not like any of us just rolled off the turnip truck yesterday. Should they be doing it? Probably not, but they are.
Yes, and story from The Blaze talking about a Wall Street Journal report. Smartphone apps are tracking and selling your location data faster than most people even realize. Every time you open an app and authorize it to access your location, you run the risk of having that information leaked or exploited. Although location data can be helpful for travel directions and weather reports, there is a downside as to how the data is used, often unknowingly, by smartphone users who are giving it away for free. The information is often used for location-aware advertising. Those pesky ads that pop up when you're driving near certain businesses. Dozens of companies track your location and send you ads based on this information. But as the late Billy Mays would say, but wait, there's more.
Oh, yeah.
And The Blaze actually says, but wait, it gets creepier. Advertisers want a complete record of where everyone in America spends their time in order to chop those histories into market segments to sell to corporate advertisers. Welcome to the world of online advertising, where massive marketplaces hold ongoing high-speed auctions for ad space. Just how lucrative is this location-based tracking? Well, the report here says in 2017, marketers spent a total of $16 billion on location-based ads.
Let's presume you sell pizzas, Darryl.
All right, I sell pizza.
Okay, and you sell pizzas. And
I do not sell pizza with pineapples on it because pineapple does not go on pizza.
I support you. You sell pizzas in Asheville, North Carolina.
Okay.
Do you want to advertise to me in Keene, New Hampshire?
No.
No, you don't. You
No, I
don't want to waste your advertising dollar on people in Keene, New Hampshire. You want to spend your advertising dollar on people who are directly in the zip code that you sell pizzas, or maybe the adjacent zip codes, but probably just that zip code.
28804.
There are probably several zip codes in Asheville, North Carolina.
But he's talking about the good one. So you light it up, you light up people's phones with your pizza-based ads in 28804, and
I'm not running 1984 pizza. I'm not sending messages to people on their telescreen, Mark.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just opened up a pizza shop next to you, and I'm eating your pizza, your pizza customers for lunch because you won't advertise through the creepy phone mechanism, and I will.
But my pizza is cheaper, therefore I win. Ha ha,
Yeah.
joke's on you.
We'll see.
Continuing on, they say that $16 billion on location-based ads amounts to about 40% of all mobile advertising spending, according to research firm BIA Kelsey. The research firm predicts these types of ads will double by 2020. Now, what they don't necessarily specify in the article here is whether or not that will double to 80% of all ads or if it will just double to $32 billion in advertising. And those are two, very distinct things.
Well, I can tell you location-based advertising tends to be more expensive.
Yes. Yeah. So I have no doubt that it will double to $32 billion. I just don't know if it will wind up accounting for 80% of all mobile ad spending.
Seems
so
unlikely.
It's kind of ambiguous what they mean by double here. But continuing, the data used to serve just one ad can filter through the database of multiple data brokers and ad agencies in a matter of seconds. Data brokers are the companies that track, buy, and sell the information to advertisers, government agencies, or other groups. Exactly how the information is used is not revealed to the general public. And that's probably the most concerning thing, especially to anybody that, cares at all about their privacy. But as they say, if you really care about your privacy, you're not going to have one of those chromed robots in your pocket.
Indeed. It's kind of one of the things that convinced me about, Amazon and Google's home devices. I was, convinced as anybody. It's like what's the thing online that back in the 80s we were like, I think the government's tapping our phones, and now people are like, hey, phone tapping device. Can cats eat pancakes?
Yeah.
It's kind of funny, and it really drives the point home. And then I realize I'm carrying around a device designed to listen to what I'm doing all the time, designed to know exactly where I am. Well, how can I justify not having one of these in-home devices when, in fact, I already have one? Basically, I drag it around with me all the time.
True. And, I'm going to, and I don't like the concept of these in-home devices, but I'm going to kind of defend them for just a second. You're not carrying the in-home device with you everywhere you go. You're leaving it in your living room or in your kitchen or whatever room of the house it is. And yes, I know that Amazon is making these things so cheap to where, in theory, you'll have one in every room in the house.
That's the idea.
So that you can always, you're
so
taking
you can listen
a shower.
to Free Talk Live anywhere.
You're in the shower. Alexa, play Free Talk Live.
Don't say that.
Well, it can do that because there's the Alexa skill that you hook up to the TuneIn, and Free Talk Live is on the TuneIn. So while you're showering, you can listen to Free Talk Live. While you're cooking in the kitchen, you can listen to Free Talk Live. You can have the Alexa give you recipes for things that you're cooking.
Could you stop waking up people's machines?
No, because I like doing that. Yeah. Okay, Google.
People are gonna write in emails and have "Fire Darryl" is gonna be the new campaign.
I wonder if Alexa has a response for that. But again, you're just keeping that in one place. You're not tracking or taking it with you everywhere. So it's not tracking your location. There is the question here about, can you turn off location tracking? And, well, the Blaze says turning off a phone's location tracker is often not enough to actually keep you hidden from the prying eyes of data brokers. And this is something, me cutting in here, this is something that I've heard from some people. They're, oh, yeah, you can turn off the tracking thing, and then Google doesn't record. And yes, I'm using air quotes there. Google doesn't record everywhere you've gone. And there's even the thing in your Google account where you can log in to make sure that, previous things aren't actually showing up.
I've got to say, I've used that Google recording where I've gone to piece together something that happened the week before and use it as, sort of evidence in a situation that I needed it in. It was a customer service situation. I needed to know what day something happened, and I could use that information.
Right. So there are positives. There are negatives. We've also heard of things where smart devices were used to prove that somebody used a large amount of water and thus probably cleaned off a bloody back porch and cleaned up a crime scene. Yeah, I think we actually covered that when that happened last fall. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450 free.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. Download the Bitcoin.com wallet for easy and secure access to your Bitcoin Cash. It's perfect for beginners, and the Bitcoin.com wallet makes using and holding Bitcoins easy. No logins are required. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We're talking about the scary thought, or at least scary for some people, that not only is their smartphone tracking them, but that location is being handed over faster than they realize. We'll continue with the story from the Blaze. Plus, is there a way to avoid this? Can you turn it off? Well, again, it gets kind of scary, but something that isn't scary is trying the best pillow that you will ever use and trying it risk-free for 60 days. I'm talking about the My Pillow. It's designed to fit to the shape of your body, hold your neck in the proper position. Mark, you and I have each had one for a couple of years. And I know that having to mail yours to you when you went to Florida recently, I'm guessing you like it.
Never going back.
Never going back to Florida or going back to a different pillow?
That's right. I meant Florida. We're talking about pillows here.
Yes, and I mentioned that I had to mail yours to you in Florida. And I, like you, would say it's the best pillow I've ever had. And unlike a regular pillow, the My Pillow, it's still going to get dirt and dead skin on it, but you can throw it in the washer, throw it in the dryer, and then it's still usable for something other than kindling or a doorstop. Go to mypillow.com. Use code FTL to get your very own My Pillow at half price, or you can get a second pillow free of charge. And remember, if you don't like it for some reason in the first 60 days, you get your money back. And the pillow itself, that's guaranteed to last you 10 years. MyPillow.com, code FTL. Again, we're talking about smartphones tracking your location and some of the companies that are tracking your location, selling it off at basically lightning speed.
Probably too cheap, too.
Yes, and you're not getting anything for that for the most part. Now,
Don't worry, somebody's going to create a utility token that monetizes that. The ICO's coming.
I was going to say, there are a few apps. I know of one, I've never used it, called Charity Miles, to where you can turn this thing on, and when you go out and you run or whatever, you can earn money for charities. There are other things that supposedly wind up paying you. There is one called Sweatcoin that's just a total scam based on all of the reviews that I've read.
Okay.
To where they claim you wind up getting Sweatcoin, a decentralized crypto something, but there's no wallet that you download other than you download the app, and then you can't actually exchange the Sweatcoin for anything, and it's not available anywhere.
You just get Sweatcoin. That's nice.
You get it, but you can't actually use it. But the article here from The Blaze says, can't you just turn off location tracking on your phone? And they say, well, you could, but that's not enough to keep these data brokers from getting your information. They say, for example, phone carriers always know where you are because they can tell which cell tower your phone uses. You're also tracked without choice while passing through open Wi-Fi spots, assuming that you have the Wi-Fi turned on your phone.
In all likelihood, you do, because you had it on at home and you didn't turn it off when you left.
Yes, the phone's Wi-Fi constantly broadcasts when it's turned on, a unique MAC address, and a history of past Wi-Fi connections. Retailers can also track you as you travel to and from their stores. Another example is an app called WeatherBug.
an app that needs location data to provide weather forecast updates. Conveniently, the article says, WeatherBug is owned by Ground Truth, an advertising company. And all of the location data the app needs to operate is also being sold to outside companies. Ground Truth has the ability to draw location data from over 100,000 other apps that have integrated parts of its code, according to company president Sergey Mata. And app makers agree to harvest location data because it grants them access to Ground Truth's mobile advertising network. On a daily basis, Ground Truth tracks the whereabouts of some 70 million people in the United States, including when they leave for work, when they come home, and when they attend public events. Data brokers say they can track our buying habits, but do not store all of our personal information in one place. But exactly how they store it isn't clear.
No, I imagine it's not.
Yeah.
That's how it's going to be. Look, if you want this device that has to know by design where you are, and you want these apps which necessarily, like, you want free and you want to pay for your weather, fine. I'm sure we can find an app that isn't going to care about giving you, content, advertising content specifically designed on where you are. But I'll tell you this, people, if you're downloading free apps, you're willingly subjecting yourself to this sort of tracking. This is something you need to know. This is life in the 21st century.
Yeah. And then one thing that's interesting, speaking of tracking, there was and I don't think it was covered on Free Talk Live, there was the news about the Strava app. Jonny, is that an app you've ever heard of? You've got a confused look on your face.
I haven't heard of it.
Mark, you ever heard of the Strava app?
No.
It's one that I don't use the app. I use the website. It's a fitness tracking thing. So I've got a tracking watch that I use, and then there are apps on my phone. And Strava is one of the places that after I go for a run or do a workout, the data will get sent to, and then I can look and see, oh, other people have run in this area. Here are my friends. Here's where they've run, when they ran, etc. But Strava also has something called a heat map. And somebody was looking at the heat map data, and then they were zooming in on places in Afghanistan and Syria and Iraq, and they were basically able to identify the location of military bases that the United States government has never admitted publicly exist.
Interesting.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And they were able to, come up with a very good idea of what the layout was, because members of the military using these fitness trackers would go out on runs, and then
they just wanted to know how many miles they'd run.
Darryl, speaking of fitness trackers,
yes,
there were some. Have you ever heard of Zombie Run?
No, I have not.
You're supposed to run from the zombies, right?
Right.
Fake zombies. Fake internet zombies.
Yeah, it's like it probably incorporates Google Maps. I wasn't able to get it for my Android. I got like a demo version of it, and it was neat. It would give you audio cues to say, hey, there's zombies behind you, and you could look at the app, and it would have, probably incorporating Google Maps, it would show you where the zombies were and if they were catching up with you, and you would have to get away from them.
Oh, that's not as fun as what I was thinking. I was thinking it was like an actual event to where people were dressed as zombies that were also running alongside the other runners. That would be more fun.
No, real life isn't cool, Darryl. Real people aren't cool, but fictional zombies on Google Maps that you're running away from, that's cool.
No. There's a map. There's an app out there that allows you and your friends to decide to play zombie running games, Darryl.
No. 855-450-FREE. That's the call-in line. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Despite being objectively awful people, newly engaged couple Ross Bird and Jessica Black want their upcoming wedding to really reflect their personalities.
We're pulling out all the stops to have a kind of wedding that just screams us.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a bluegrass band playing 80s pop songs. Because Ross loves bluegrass, but I love 80s music.
And then at the end of the ceremony, this is great, we're gonna pass out sparklers to all the guests.
Sources claim that a bunch of candles in mason jars and an Instagram photo booth will truly capture the essence of the insufferable pair.
We didn't want some big, stuffy ceremony.
Yeah,
It should feel more like a fun dance party for our friends.
Because the night's about us, yes, but I mean, it's also, about the people who make us, us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And those people love us exactly for our uniqueness.
Sources hoped with every fiber of their being that these two would be divorced within a year.
This is the Onion News Network.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. If instead of just listening to the show, you want to watch us, yeah, that's something you can do, you dirty little voyeurs. You can head over to the Twitch, and not only can you watch, but you can interact with other voyeurs that like to watch.
It's like in 4K or something, too, isn't it? It's huge.
I don't think it's 4K, but it is some kind of high def.
Yep, Johnny Raid's got quite a beard.
Twitch.lrn.fm. And there's some kind of thing to where if you have the Amazon Prime, you get one free Twitch subscription included in your Prime membership, and that somehow does something to give us some money, I think, somehow. I don't know exactly how it works. Kind of like all of that tracking that the cell phones do. Like, it
does something. You just don't know exactly how. Ian might know a little bit more, but twitch.lrn.fm. Now, Jonny, in the last segment, you asked me if I knew anything about this zombie running thing.
I believe the specific app that I was referring to was called Zombie Run, that I tried to explore and get into, and I couldn't get it because it was an Apple-only thing at the time.
That's rather strange.
Yeah?
That it would be Apple-only, because my understanding is the Apple App Store is more difficult to get apps into than, say, the Google Play Store.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it might be easier to sell things out of.
Yeah.
Because there's less competition, tougher to get in, easier to get out. But I really wanted to try that because I wanted something to trick me into exercising, and I thought if there was this thing,
imaginary zombies.
Yep, and it was kind of gamey insofar as I think you could acquire resources by completing missions and stuff. But I could never get the app, and so I never did it. And I just wondered, since you're such a successful runner, if you had tried anything like that, if anything like that would interest you.
No, I listen to podcasts when I run, and like I say, I use a couple of different websites that once I finish my run, it auto exports things, and then I can look and see, here's where I rank against other members of this running club. This is how I rank against other members of that running club. I think right now I'm a member of 3 different running clubs.
Good. So you go for the real life experience with actual people.
Yes.
And get their satisfaction that way. That could work. I could see that.
Yeah. And then there are also things that you might be interested in, Jonny, called virtual runs. To where
the hell is that?
I'm going to explain. So I've done a couple of these.
Sounds like I'm in.
I've done a couple of these. No, you actually have to run.
That's not a virtual run.
No. So
I've already been lied to here.
So regular.
Are there real zombies too, Darryl?
No. Regular races are you show up on this date at this time, run this distance.
Okay.
Virtual run is you have until the end of the month to run this distance. You can do it all at once. You can do it, in however many different segments that you want. But once you finish the virtual run, you can opt to purchase a medal and a T-shirt. And I know that some people will do that.
Seriously.
Yeah.
But so do you need your phone to track you doing it?
Some of
Would
them.
have to.
No, some of them do allow for manual input of I ran X, here was my time.
Can't beat that guy. Basically, a Fitbit allows you to do something similar. You can have little friends on your Fitbit thing and the app, and you can say, haha, I got more steps in today or this week or whenever than you did. So, at least there, you have to have, picked your legs up and moved your arms back and forth for the Fitbit.
Now, let's talk about an actual run and something that borders on civil disobedience while running a half marathon.
Only a half?
Yes, only 13.1 miles. Story comes to us from the Bristol Post out of the UK. Runners have been filling the streets of the city of Bath in controversial circumstances as hundreds of people ignored official advice to cancel the half marathon in the interest of safety. With what the emergency services stretched to the limits with the fallout from Storm Emma, apparently there was some kind of storm that hit the UK called Storm Emma. In recent days, local organizers...
They can't even have real hurricanes. They got to name their storms.
Local organizers and the local council called off the race, but the power of social media saw hundreds of people from Bath, Bristol, and the surrounding areas sign up for the unofficial Bath half on Facebook, and before you knew it, the streets were pounding with residents, some not happy to see the runners taking up space. The popular run was supposed to take place on Friday, and on Saturday, race director Andrew Taylor urged runners to be sensible. He was concerned Already overstretched emergency services would find it hard to tend to any runners in need. Some residents weren't happy to see the runners attempting the route, according to the Bath Chronicle. Alice Little tweeted, the way they have it written here, it sounds as though that's her entire name. She took to Twitter to say that people were running on Lower Bristol Road despite pavement being empty. Sean Duden from Twerton said, I was waking into town. I guess that's supposed to be walking into town. And they were running on the pavement and the roads. I saw a mom with a push car. And if one of them had slipped in some of the bits of snow that was around, they could have easily taken her down. When I was walking on the pavement, they were running towards me, so I had to go up onto the bits of snow myself. Why can't people just understand that when someone says something's canceled, it's canceled? I just think it's really inconsiderate, and maybe Bath should implement a no jogging zone in the city because there are a lot more runners than there were 10 years ago.
Well, there you go. That's democracy for you.
Yeah, so there was a
policy.
race. The race organizer canceled the race. Some people decided, dagnabbit, I'm going to run anyway. And now you have people calling for banning running in the town center. There's more to this article that we'll get into. But first, to the phones, actually to the Skype, where we've got David calling in from New Mexico. David, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hey, yeah, I wanted to play another card, another round of My State is Worse Than Your State poker. And
it probably is because New Hampshire consistently ranks in the top 3 in the Freedom in the 50 States ranking.
But is it worse?
In the 50 states rankings.
Yeah, but is it worse than New Jersey? I think that's what we're about to find out.
Ooh, is New Mexico worse than New Jersey?
Well, I would say yes, and the FBI says yes because the special agent in charge of the New Mexico region once said to a reporter when asked, he said that New Mexico was the most corrupt state in the nation. And the reporter, immediately being sharp, said, well, that's the same thing that the FBI said about Illinois. And our sharp special agent replied, yes, but that agent has not been to New Mexico. and so last night I played. Yes, he was sharp enough to be an FBI agent, at least in the old days when they were presumably more sharp than they are today, or at least less conniving. Last night I played the card Senator Phil Griego, long time senator of New Mexico, who is headed to prison for a year and a half. Let me finish, or I hear music.
Yeah, I'll hold you over. It sounded as though your connection were starting to break up, though. We'll be back. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Plus more on this civil disobedience half marathon from Bath, England. This is Free Talk Live.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
You've heard of Bitcoin Cash, but did you know there's now a Bitcoin Cash wallet? The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. The Bitcoin.com wallet supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com. Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to goberkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. goberkey.com.
Armistice Day was a day dedicated to world peace, a day to perpetuate peace through goodwill and mutual understanding. This sentiment was lost when Congress renamed the day in 1954. So antiwar.com is reclaiming November 11th as Armistice Day, a celebration of hope and peace. Antiwar.com has been battling the war party for 22 years and has always been on the cutting edge of technology in this fight, having accepted Bitcoin donations for 5 years now. Antiwar.com is diving deeper into the cryptocurrency movement by adding Bitcoin Cash, Dash, and Zcash to its digital currency donation options. And to celebrate, Bitcoin.com has pledged $20,000 in crypto matching funds through December 31st. Help Antiwar.com accelerate into the future with a cryptocurrency donation today.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight, it's Darryl,
Jonny Ray,
and Mark.
And we'll get back to the phones here in just a second, but I want to make sure that I tell you about a place that you can go to get all of the latest news and info in the cryptocurrency world. Talking about news.bitcoin.com. One of the headlines posted just a couple of hours ago: class action complaint accuses Coinbase of insider trading. Coinbase, as you may be aware, is one of the largest companies out there that people use for buying Bitcoin.
It's got to be the largest.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the largest. There might be one of those Chinese exchanges that...
Certainly the largest in the U.S. How's that?
Definitely the largest in the U.S. Accusations of insider trading. You can read all about that. Plus, the Bitcoin.com wallet just announced 2 million downloads, and they only launched the thing in August of last year. So we're talking 6 months-ish, a little over 6 months, 2 million downloads. They've got the article about that as well. All of that and more. Basically everything you need to know about the crypto world. News.bitcoin.com. Let's go back to the Skype where we've got David calling in from New Mexico. He's telling us about how New Mexico is the most corrupt state in the country.
although I've heard that Rhode Island and Illinois also like to claim that moniker, and I believe Illinois is the only state that has a gubernatorial wing to the state prison.
Yes. Okay. Well, if you want to win at this game of poker, you have to play the card. So, like I said, last night I played the card. Longtime New Mexico Senator Phil Griego, very senior senator, has to report to prison for a 1.5-year sentence. The prosecutor is trying to get him for 10, but the judge only sentenced him to a 1.5 years. He's got to report by March 9th to begin serving that term, and he has to pay, I don't know what it was, a $27,000 fine or something, because what he had done is he tried to get through, pushed real hard to get a law through that would allow the state to sell a historical public building. And just so happens to be that he was the real estate agent that was going to get the commission on that sale, which was a $50,000 commission. And they caught him on that and prosecuted him and convicted him, and he's going to prison. And so tonight, the card I'm playing is in 2015, we had our Secretary of State, Diana Duran, who happened to be a longtime senator prior to being Secretary of State. And she was charged with 64 violations in a criminal complaint, including fraud, embezzlement, money laundering, campaign law violations, tampering with public records, conspiracy, and violating the Governmental Conduct Act. She got away with only having to go to jail for 30 days and do a bunch of 2,000 hours of community service, including going to 144 talks of high schools and such, where she would tell her dirty little story of how she took her campaign money that was in her campaign fund. And also, remember, she was a Secretary of State who was charged with enforcing campaign law, like not spending your campaign fund at the casino, which is what she did apparently 64 times.
So was she teaching the students how to wind up getting away with embezzling campaign funds?
That would be a good class.
Well, yes. And in New Mexico, that's exactly what that would equate to. All those young minds they're taking notes, not likely what not to do, but hey, how to do. So they probably learned, hey, run for office, campaign donations, buy clothes, go to the casino, all that kind of stuff. And so that's 2 so far. So I got 2 of a kind. If anybody wants to compete against me in this game of my state is worse than yours poker.
Oh, I agree. Your state is definitely worse than ours. David, thank you for the call. Now, I know a lot of people think that corrupt politicians should go to prison. I actually don't think they should, because we're talking about people who are used to living at the expense of others, to where they're getting fed and clothed and housed at other people's expense. And when you put them in prison, what happens? You are feeding them, clothing them, and housing them at someone else's expense. A better punishment for corrupt politicians is you are now the fry cook at Burger King. That's the only job you're allowed to have for the next 15 years.
Well, I'd certainly think that would be a better choice, but I really think we should just encircle the island of Manhattan with a giant wall and throw them all in.
Ooh, and build a moat.
Yeah, well, you don't need to. It's an island.
Right, I just like the idea of moats around islands. So basically, you build an atoll around the island so that then there's a moat.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Moats.
Yeah, I know what a moat is.
And then you put alligators and sharks in the moat.
Sorry, that doesn't work in the Hudson River. Sharks, assuming they could dodge all the hypodermic needles.
Let's get back into the story about the civil disobedience half marathon in Bath, England.
I know those politicians are going to be laid waste by Snake Plissken. I can tell you that much.
That's a movie reference.
It is.
I never saw the movie,
I think it's
but I know it's a movie reference. So again, in Bath, England, there was...
Wait, hold on a second, Darryl.
Yes.
Is that a John Carpenter movie?
I don't know.
John Carpenter sucks. The Thing, that's John Carpenter too, right? Yeah, that's such a boring...
I could probably name
movie.
all of the Adam Sandler movies, but other than that, I have no clue.
Well, it's got.
I've heard the name John Carpenter.
It's a cult classic, but there's no there. It's really boring. Ian's here in the studio with us, and he's
not ready to rip your face off.
He's groaning, and I can't
that.
see his face, but I can hear him rolling his eyes.
I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that John Carpenter and all his films are crappy. Go ahead, Darryl, with Bath.
Yeah, so Bath, the half marathon was canceled because there was some kind of storm. The local officials, those elected people that they know better than you, they wound up convincing the race director to cancel the half marathon. People said, you know what? I paid a registration fee. I've traveled. I'm going to run this race. And so they spontaneously organized the Bath unofficial half marathon. And then some of the locals got upset. One guy says, I just think it's really inconsiderate, and maybe Bath should implement a no jogging zone in the city because there's a lot more runners than there were 10 years ago. The move by the runners goes against Bath and Northeast Somerset Council's advice, with Clear Bob Goodman, who's a conservative from Combe Down, who's a member of Cabinet for Development and Neighborhood, speaking out against the planned unofficial run. But as morning dawned and determined runners saw the conditions gradually getting better, some just couldn't resist getting their kit on and heading to the starting point on Great Pulteney Street. Contestants, some wearing fancy dress and carrying flags, gathered from 10:30 a.m. and set off with a cheer at the original Bath half start time of 11 a.m. But some runners got up even earlier to complete the route, finishing as the main group was getting started. They have a list here of some names that were the unofficial winners of the unofficial Bath half, finishing the course.
You think the people that got all upset about these folks running their unofficial race were the ones that complained at first? Like they just went out on purpose to get bumped and jostled by runners?
Probably. And, I'm actually organizing an unofficial, well, it's going to be an officially unofficial, unsanctioned, unlicensed race that I'm organizing in December up in northern Maine. It's going to be a 1K race the day after a unsupported half and full marathon.
What would you do a 1K race for? I mean, is people going to stick around for that?
Well, people stick around the next day anyway, and then before having brunch, we're going to run a 1K basically around downtown Millinocket. Okay. And the entire point of that race is to bring business to this depressed area where all of the industry left about a decade ago. So
have you been there?
I ran that marathon last year as the first full marathon I ever did.
Can you see why the industry left Millinocket? Maybe people should take a clue.
It's in northern Maine. There's the longest private road in the United States that starts in Millinocket and goes to Canada.
There's a private road in Millinocket?
Yes, it's called the Golden Road. It's like 100 miles long, goes from Millinocket, Maine, all the way to the Canadian border. And I ran on part of it because I'm crazy. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. What are your thoughts on runners running unofficial races? Should people be banned from running in downtown? This is Free Talk Live.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com. The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Saturday, March 3rd, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.52 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,323 per ounce. Zen Cash is trading at $40, and the average price of Bitcoin is $11,412. Antiwar.com reports Russian President Vladimir Putin's State of the Nation address on Thursday came with a surprising amount of rhetoric about the development of the Russian Federation's nuclear arsenal and their ability to evade U.S. missile defense systems. This has resulted in a flurry of statements Friday from NATO and its member nations saying Putin's statement was unacceptable and that it was counterproductive to efforts to shore up arms control agreements. U.S. President Trump, along with French President Emmanuel Macron and German Chancellor Angela Merkel, all spoke Friday about the matter, expressing serious concern about what Putin had said and its impact on arms control. Yet all these attempts by the West to position themselves as favoring arms control and Putin undermining it are a dramatic revision of the past several years, which have seen the U.S. repeatedly threatening to withdraw from such deals on the basis of perceived Russian violations. Indeed, a Putin statement came just on the heels of President Trump's own public statements vowing to dramatically grow the U.S. nuclear arsenal in the name of having a superior arsenal to the Russians, with talks of efforts at lower yield, more usable nuclear arms, and bringing U.S. nukes to bear in retaliation for things like cyber attacks.
You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates, like Namecheap and Amazon, at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. Or you can shop directly from FPP with Bitcoin in the Bitcoin store. That's shop.fppradio.com.
UPI reports drivers for ride-hailing companies Uber and Lyft earn a median profit of $3.37 per hour before taxes, according to a research study published on Friday. The study from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, analyzed fiscal data from about 1,100 independent contractor drivers and was performed by the MIT Center for Energy and Environmental Policy Research. According to the report, just under 75% of drivers earned less than the prevailing minimum wage in their state, and about 30% said they actually lose money when vehicle expenses are factored in. The study found the driver's median income was 59 cents per mile. When operating expenses, insurance, vehicle maintenance, depreciation, repairs, and fuel are included, that figure is reduced to 29 cents per mile. With the IRS's standard deduction of 54 cents per mile, drivers for Uber and Lyft can declare a loss on their tax returns. The tax deduction is higher than the actual cost per mile, facilitating an estimated $4.8 billion in untaxed income, according to MIT. The study said these numbers suggest that approximately 74% of driver profit is untaxed.
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
Reuters reports 9 students from the University of California, Santa Barbara suffered an apparent mass overdose of prescription opioids at a party and were taken to local hospitals, according to police. The Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office said in a statement that sheriff's deputies and paramedics responded to an emergency call and found a young man unconscious in the back of a car at about 10 p.m. Thursday night. Other students at the gathering told deputies that the victim, who was rushed to a local hospital, had ingested alcohol along with an unknown amount of the pain reliever OxyContin. Deputies on the scene discovered a second male who had stopped breathing and exhibited signs of an overdose. They revived him with a dose of naloxone before transporting him to the hospital. 7 more students, all of whom had taken a blue pill, were ultimately found exhibiting symptoms of an overdose and were taken to hospitals. 8 of the students have been released from hospitals as of late Friday evening. The remaining student was expected to be released over the weekend. According to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, 19,410 people died from fentanyl and other synthetic opioids in 2016. Experts say that mass overdose in one location are extremely rare. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Thank you, Jode. I appreciate you taking up this issue.
Berto, if a man ain't cooked crisp on the Hellfire Desert, ain't he ought to be left on his own?
Well, right, Jode. Immigrants are desperate for a better way of life.
We need the strongest of these crude backward browns to keep us all alive. I see the ones that can swim the Rio Grande, too. Berto, you swum that border river to get here, ain't you?
Jode, not all Mexicans came here by swimming the Rio Grande.
No. I got sympathy. I crossed Huron Lake in a barrel myself using hands as paddles. Lived off the carp. What jumped at me? Now, you swum that river,
No,
ain't you?
Jode, actually, I was born here.
What you know about hard work? Ain't never swum no river.
Many immigrants, they
I say you ain't never knowed a man till you seen his teeth. Show him your teeth. Too many teeth rotting out shows you're dishonest in the mind. You got strong manful teeth, Barto. I apologize.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Kicking off our number 3 in studio tonight, it's Darryl,
Jonny Ray,
and Mark.
And Jonny, you've got something here about some kind of gun training class that wound up filling up way faster than anybody thought.
It's a story from Ohio that Mark shared with us. Before I get into it, I wanted to say that there are a couple of John Carpenter films that I can endorse. One of them...
this, going back to a conversation we had last hour where you said you don't like John Carpenter.
I said that The Thing was boring and gimmicky.
I want to go on record saying that I don't necessarily have anything against any Carpenters named John.
Okay. I can endorse They Live.
Good movie.
Yep.
I just saw that for the first time a couple years ago. I liked it.
And there's a film, Halloween. The Michael Myers character is particularly terrifying. He's a great...
Never seen it.
Well,
I'm aware of it. I've just never seen it.
He's an implacable... unstoppable force. He moves at his own pace, which is not especially fast, but he always gets to you.
Right, that typical slasher movie style pace to where, you're running and you fall down and he's just slow and methodical and catches up to you.
Yep. Also, I wanted to say that John Carpenter is a composer, and the Halloween theme, among some of the other themes that he writes, is very compelling and creepy. So he's got his good points. Oh, also, Big Trouble in Little China. Now, I haven't
never seen it.
I haven't seen all of that.
That's a great movie.
But I'll take your word for it that that's great.
There's not a lot of movies that I have seen.
Back to the Liberty. Ohio sheriff offers free gun training to 50 teachers, forced to cap at 300 after huge response. An Ohio sheriff who offered free firearms training to 50 teachers
sounds as though he would have capped the class at 50.
Makes sense, but I you know what? I think that
it's not the same class. He can give 6 classes. It doesn't take that long to get gun training.
Right, but again,
it's not
if
like
you
it's
say
13 weeks or anything.
I'm doing X for 50 people, you cut off registration after 50 people.
Sounds like he had a lot of interest.
Was forced to cap his offer at 300 after a flood of local school employees signed up in the wake of a Florida high school shooting that left 17 people dead.
It sounds like he doesn't know how to set registration limits on whatever website he was using.
We put it online. We thought we'd get 20 school teachers, maybe. Within 20 minutes, we had 40. Within an hour, we had 100. Within 4 hours, we had 200. By the next morning at 300, we cut it off. Butler County Sheriff Richard Jones said on Fox and Friends. The Parkland, Florida shooting has renewed a national debate on the Second Amendment. Parenthetically from Johnny Ray, Second Amendment from the useless U.S. Constitution. Sheriff Jones noted that only a few schools in Ohio allow the concealed carry of a firearm and that the plan to arm teachers would only work if, quote, the school boards have the guts to make it a reality.
This term arming teachers is probably better stated as allowing teachers to arm themselves if they wish, because people really are acting like they're handing out AKs to little school marms and sending them off to class to protect the students.
Well, there are probably some people that would want to do that.
There are probably some people that believe that they can talk to Mephistopheles via their cell phone. But we don't operate as though it's true.
I don't know who or what method stuff, whatever it was.
What I'm telling you is that all kinds of people on my Facebook feed, largely Democrats and liberals, are acting as though literally the government wants to give AK-47s to school marms and that it would be disastrous as a result. It probably would.
Yes, and I'm saying that I have seen conservatives advocate for handing weapons to school teachers.
They're not
simply allowing them to have it, but to say, all right, teacher, as part of your job now, you have to learn how to use this.
As a ratio, how many conservatives have you seen advocating to hand out guns to unskilled and untrained people versus Democrats acting like conservatives want to do that? Because I haven't seen any. So at this point, we're something like 20 to 0.
The number that I've seen doing either is very small.
Okay.
So like I'm talking
curate your
handfuls.
Yeah. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Jones?
Nobody in their right mind wants to do that dumb crap, okay?
I will agree with that. Nobody in their right mind.
Well, I've definitely seen on the social media loads of leftists ridiculing the idea of teachers packing heat.
But
Jones?
There are places in America right now where high school teachers can carry guns and do.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's not like we have to act like we know what's going to happen. We've got numbers. I don't need to pretend like it's a good idea. We can see whether it's a good idea. How many teachers have pulled out their gat and capped some sassy little high schooler right in the center of mass? How many? Because I don't think it's ever happened.
Nor do I.
Jones suggested that school staffers should go through mandatory firearms training to help them identify the sounds of gunfire. We have to do something here because we can't wait for our government to do anything. All they do is fight. They get nothing done, he said. 4 days ago, during a White House listening session on school shootings, President Trump suggested arming teachers, a call he has repeated since. If you had a teacher who was adept at firearms, they could very well end the attack very quickly. And the good thing about a suggestion like that, and we're going to be looking at it very strongly, and I think a lot of people are going to be opposed to it, I think a lot of people are going to like it. But the good thing is you're going to have a lot of armed people with that, said the president.
So, again, my statement would be I don't want to either arm teachers. I don't want to do any of this stuff. I want to ban the public school system. Because then you'd stop having people argue about how to, fix these middle-class welfare, babysitting day prisons, shooting galleries. And I don't know that it's fixable. You're not going to get a perfect result. It was a bad idea to begin with.
Oh, I definitely agree with that.
We can't stop school shootings. We can't stop guns from being manufactured, but we've got to do something. We've got to make the schools more of a hardened target, said Sheriff Jones, adding that the class was open to teachers, secretaries, and maintenance workers. Yeah, I mean, this is I don't see anything wrong with this except that it's trying to fix something that is fundamentally flawed. And the fundamental flaw is that the funding for schools is taken coercively. The schools don't have real competition, and you have to have competition to improve.
And not only that, but the students are required by law to go to some kind of educational institution. So whether they get to choose which educational institution they go to or not, if they don't actually want to go, that's going to be a problem. And the fact that there are compulsory education laws that force these kids to go to some educational institution is a problem.
I think that most people are going to want to see education. Now, I'm not saying that it would necessarily go for 13 years or whatever, but, at the very least, they want to see kids go to, some kind of vocational training, something.
Right. And I'm not saying that children should not learn things. I'm simply saying that they should not be forced to go to an educational institution that they might not want to go to.
Yeah, children, Mark, you know this better than anyone. Children want to learn. Learning is one of the great pleasures in life, and children kind of understand that better than adults because they're learning all the time. And it takes schooling such that I had in order to beat that kind of curiosity out of a child.
Right. And what's the Mark Twain quote? I never let my schooling get in the way of my education.
Yeah, that's a good one.
No, that's what we're talking about here is don't let the schooling get in the way of education. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. The Bitcoin.com wallet supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Download the Bitcoin.com wallet for easy and secure access to your Bitcoin Core and your Bitcoin Cash. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Boost Kid Essentials Nutritionally Complete Drink, providing your picky eater with essential nutrition and great taste in one drink. Visit us at kidessentials.com. To make sure your kids eat healthy, follow the 5-a-day plan. Serve 3 servings of vegetables and 2 servings of fruit daily. Remember, a serving could just mean a piece of fruit or a half cup of veggies. If your kids are picky eaters, ask a nutritionist about other sources. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've been talking about school teachers and government schools, and, well, I've got another story about a different teacher at a completely different government school. I'll tell you about it here in just a moment. But first, I want to tell you about something that, it's really important because, it's good technology, and it's probably going to help reshape the world for the better. I'm talking about cryptocurrencies, specifically Zencash. Zencash was founded by liberty-loving voluntarists in 2017, and they took the best tech like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and they're creating a secure platform for money and messaging that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. And as of just a couple of weeks ago, they announced they have over 7,000 secure nodes, which makes Zencash one of the strongest blockchains of all cryptocurrencies. Their wallets are available in multiple languages and on multiple platforms. We're talking Windows, Mac, Linux, Android devices, and they're now available on at least 7 exchanges. You can learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. So Jonny, Ray, and Mark joining me, Darryl, in studio tonight. And Jonny, you just got done telling us about this sheriff in Ohio wanted to have some kind of firearms training class for teachers. Figured I'll probably get, a couple dozen, maybe 50 people. Wound up, 300?
He capped it at 300.
Could have been, hundreds more. We don't know.
Right.
And this was just in some little, burb in Ohio. I don't know where.
Butler County.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
Nor have I.
Then again, I don't know that much about Ohio. It could be where Toledo is, for all I know.
Yeah, I've heard of Cuyahoga. Couldn't tell you where it is. Just know I've heard of it.
Okay.
So moving from Ohio to Florida, not Florida man, Florida woman.
Uh-oh.
Florida middle school teacher is being investigated by her employer after reports that she hosts a white supremacist podcast and then used Twitter to share anti-Semitic conspiracy theories and suggest that Muslims be eradicated from the planet. The story here comes from
don't we
BuzzFeed.
want diversity of ideas in our public schools?
Yeah, let error freely contend with truth, serene in the confidence that truth will prevail.
Yeah, I don't think that American public is serene in that confidence.
HuffPo first reported on Saturday that Diana Volatik, a social studies teacher at Crystal River Middle School, used the pseudonym Tiana Dalikoff to secretly host a podcast in which she recently argued that some races are smarter than others. Now, Mark, you're originally from Florida, and you chuckled when you heard the name of the school.
Because I just heard that Deliverance song.
Uh-huh.
Yep. It's Crystal River. Come on. I mean, surprise, surprise, surprise. You got yourself a racist in Crystal River, Florida.
Okay. Are you alleging that Deliverance took place in Crystal River? I thought it took place in Tennessee.
I think it did too, yeah. I'm just suggesting that Crystal River might be a little more Tennessee than places in Tennessee.
Gotcha. The Citrus County School District. Do you know where that is?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, my friend from Citrus County said they really don't have a citrus industry in Citrus County, which is interesting.
So is that more Tennessee than parts of Tennessee?
Yeah.
Because apparently that's where Crystal River Middle School is. The Citrus County School District issued a statement that Volatic has been removed from the classroom while its Human Resources Department conducts an investigation. According to the description of the pilot episode of the podcast, and yes, I'm intentionally not giving you the name of the podcast because, well, I don't want to give this woman any more advertisement than she's already getting. They say it's available on TuneIn, then they describe what TuneIn is. They say because some people aren't aware of podcast, apparently. They say the podcast aims to cut through the myths and misconceptions of the modern culture and political jungle and covers taboo topics that will take you on a ride you'll never be able to forget.
All right.
In a recent episode, she identified herself as a public school teacher and prided herself on bringing her beliefs into the classroom.
Ruh-roh.
In an episode published February 26th, she said she, quote, had a couple of instances where parents were concerned, including a parent who emailed her school's principal to express worry that she was injecting political bias into her teaching. She said on the podcast that when the principal contacted her about the parent's email, she lied, saying, "It's not true." Quote, "She believed me and then backed off." On the same episode, the teacher agreed with a guest who dismissed the idea that a kid from Nigeria and a kid from Sweden are supposed to learn exactly the same. She went on to say that science has shown that some races are smarter than others.
Ruh-roh.
She also agreed with a guest who said that more white supremacists need to become teachers in public schools.
Oh, boy.
The guest said on the show, "They don't have to be vocal about their views, but get in there. Be more covert and start taking over those places." The teacher said, "Right, I'm absolutely one of them." She also reportedly used a Twitter handle with the same pseudonym. The account has since been deleted, but Huffington Post took screenshots of the tweets, which include the statement that Islam legitimizes terrorist behavior and that terrorist attacks will continue until we eradicate Muslims from the face of the earth.
Oh, boy.
Other tweets say that it isn't supremacist or hateful to prefer your own people over others, and that systemic racism and white privilege aren't real.
Systemic racism and white privilege aren't real.
This is what you get when you criminalize ideas, and when you've got this militant political correctness that wants to cram ideas down people's throats, however virtuous the ideas may be, like racial equality. If you force that onto somebody, they don't want to accept it, or they're not ready to accept it. They're not going to accept it, and they're going to just be, just like she said, they're just going to be covert about how they do business and how they promote the ideas that they believe in.
Yeah, and this goes back to the same sort of discussion we were having with the should we arm the teachers debate. That's asking the completely wrong question. The correct question is, should there be government schools and should there be compulsory education laws? That's the question that needs to be answered. That's the debate that needs to be had. But too many people don't want to have that discussion or have that debate because, well, without
schools, who would wind up teaching children?
Yeah.
Well, if you entered your
The white
kid
supremacists.
into school at 2 weeks old and then the schools wound up teaching children to walk, well, they wouldn't walk until they were like 5, but then a generation later, without school, who's teaching the children to walk? This is Free Talk Live. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
The answer to being in control of your own healthcare is freedom from insurance. Become part of a group of self-pay patients that come together to share in each other's medical expenses. Individual share amounts begin at $107 a month and $347 for families. Choose from 3 health-sharing programs. Holistic treatments may be eligible for sharing. See guidelines. Discount programs available for dental, vision, and pharmacy. Go to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
If you're looking for work, it's a process of elimination, and you're trying not to be eliminated. So here's a tip for making the cut, and this might seem subtle, but to the person interviewing you, it's not. There is a world of difference between applicants who convey, "I need a job," and those who simply ooze, "I want to work," especially in these lean times when many you're competing with will seem desperate in "I'll take anything" mode. If you convey specific interest in this job at this company, you will be conspicuous. Thus, the value of going to school on the company you're applying to before the interview. With money and attention so tight now, effective communication skills have never been more important. For more tips for job seekers and everyone else, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. It's Darryl,
Jonny Ray,
and Mark.
And
little bit more on this story about the white supremacist teacher down in Florida. Yep, Florida woman is a white supremacist and has a podcast and apparently was a middle school teacher. Again, we'll get back into that. But first, I want to tell you about a home security system that you can get delivered right to your house or wherever it is that packages go for you. And then after it comes to you, you download an app on your smartphone, on a tablet, some kind of mobile device, and then the app walks you through an easy setup. Even if you've got a complicated router system and you're not technically inclined like Mark, you should still be able to get this set up in about 10 to 15 minutes, and you either get notified when something like your cat moves in front of the wireless camera, or you can check it whenever you want to from that mobile device. And have we got a deal for you? Get 3 Blink security cams for what the other guys charge for 1. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. That's blinkprotect, all one word, blinkprotect.com/FTL, as in Free Talk Live. One more time, blinkprotect.com/FTL. Getting back into the story here about the teacher from Crystal River Middle School in Citrus County, Florida. Not too terribly far from where you're originally from there, Mark.
Not too far, but a world away.
Yep, the teacher who apparently hosts a podcast where she talks about her white supremacist views. Her actual name is Diana Volatik. Her online pseudonym is Tiana Dalikoff. And let's see. Let's go back to some of these quotes. She had a guest on the show, unnamed guest, according to the BuzzFeed article here, where the guest was saying that there needs to be more white supremacists as public teachers in schools.
It's a little disturbing.
They don't have to be vocal about their views, but get in there, be more covert, and start taking over the place. Dalikoff responded, "Right, I'm absolutely one of those. And yes, I'm giving them both kind of the same redneck accent." She also reportedly used a Twitter handle using the same pseudonym that she used to host the podcast. That Twitter account has been deleted, but HuffPo took screenshots of the tweets, which include the statements that, again, Islam legitimizes terrorist behavior, according to this woman, and that, quote, terrorist attacks will continue until we eradicate Muslims from the face of the earth, end quote. Other tweets say it isn't supremacist or hateful to prefer your own people over others, and she says that systemic racism and white privilege aren't real.
Well, I would say that second to last one, that it isn't racist to prefer your, own people over others or something like that. I think that's kind of born into people. I'm not saying that that's what we should strive for by any stretch of the imagination, but that's just sort of, it's just sort of a natural thing that people are comfortable with what they're comfortable with.
I will say it's not necessarily supremacist to prefer, but it's definitely a symptom of being a supremacist, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Continuing on the Twitter account, also praised and retweeted neo-Nazis and white supremacists, including David Duke, the former Grand Wizard of the KKK. In a statement from the Citrus County School District, they said they were made aware of a concerning podcast on March 2nd. The statement continues, the Human Resources Department was not notified, was notified, and an investigation was initiated immediately. The teacher has been removed from the classroom, and the investigation is ongoing. Pursuant to Florida statute, an open investigation and materials related to it are exempt from public records and cannot be discussed until the investigation is complete. Now, it doesn't say that she's been placed on administrative leave. It doesn't say that, she's no longer working for the school district. It says she's been removed from the classroom.
Well, like she was gagged and drug out.
The media has convicted her. The school district has said that they're not 100% sure it's her, and they're still investigating. I think is what's happening now.
Right, but I just, the wording that they use here to where it basically sounds as though she still has a job at the school district. She's just no longer going to be in the classroom.
Oh, I see.
It is hard to get rid of
she might be doing some kind of administrative. You're now the secretary for the principal.
She might just be sitting at a desk at a warehouse where they put all of the people that they can't have in front of students, but they can't fire.
That they've moved her desk down into the basement, and then they took her red stapler.
No, nothing like that.
It's going to be miserable. It's going to be a long time till retirement.
Do you guys think that race is going to be with us for a long, long time, forever?
I think that
because I think that air travel and the how geography is not a barrier to people getting together anymore. I think that is what sort of formed the races. Mountains and oceans keeping people from breeding with one another is why we have the races now. The world is flat, as they say, and people are free to love whoever they want. And I think that the waters are getting muddier over time. And is there going to be a time where people are indistinguishable?
Since that's probably not going to be in my lifetime, I'm not going to bother to speculate on what the world will be like. Obviously, we're getting browner as time goes by. There's crossings of racial barriers, and scientists at this point aren't even prepared to say what race is. Social construct is the terminology that's used on a relatively regular basis, but I would say once race disappears, Johnny Ray, people will easily and adroitly have already figured out ways to separate themselves.
Ways to hate somebody for...
Because I honestly believe it's not mostly race, it's mostly class. It's income. People who aren't making as much and don't have as much upset at people who are making more and have more.
Right, and there are some people that, they want to differentiate the classes based on externalities. And, well, you look different and you look different, so therefore you're different class. But I thought I had read something, and I'm having trouble finding it, saying that, what we currently think of as race is just not going to be a thing within a couple hundred years. But as Mark said, it's not going to be in my lifetime. It's not going to be in yours unless, you wind up doing some kind of, what's that, transhumanist sort of thing. But then is that really you if you're uploading your brain to a computer?
I don't know. Do you really think we have to worry about it in our lifetimes? I mean, at this point, science can't predict the folding of a single protein.
Right, but you're the one that's going to be freezing your brain, so you're kind of the transhumanist in the room.
Freezing my head, which will have my brain in it, is actually a hedge against them, or hedge for or whatever against them coming up with this sort of technology. I don't think they're going to do it in my lifetime. I don't think they're going to do it in any of our lifetimes.
You don't think transhumanism is going to be a thing?
Hold on. I said lifetime. What part of lifetime don't you understand?
Right. No, I just wanted to make sure that was the thing you were saying wasn't going to exist in our lifetime.
What seems clear to me is that at some point they will be able to take somebody who's newly dead. Well, they're already doing that, right? Some people who die, they bring them back to life, right?
Yes.
So that period of time will get longer and longer as time goes by. I'm going to guess that they're going to be able to take somebody's brain at some point and wake it back up as long as it's been preserved properly. I'm going to presume that with the technology that we have today, that these cryogenic storage units are the best technology that we've got, and hopefully they'll wake me up about the same time they do Ted Williams.
And I wonder if they can do that to somebody being hit by a car. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
It's been said, any society is only 3 missed meals away from chaos. Those times may be near. Think about it. Our country faces multiple terrorist threats and aggressions from Russia and North Korea. Social unrest and violent marches yet again may lead to looting of stores and city shutdowns. And our crumbling infrastructure leaves our power grid vulnerable to long-term outages from a single cyber attack. When the chaos from any one of these threats arises, the government knows it can't provide during a widespread national emergency. That's why you need your own plan for self-reliance. That's where My Patriot Supply comes in. Get a 4-week survival food supply for only $99. That includes breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Order online at preparewithgcn.com. $99 for 4 weeks of survival food that tastes like homemade cooking and lasts up to 25 years. From My Patriot Supply. Get your kits today at preparewithgcn.com. Free shipping is included. Preparewithgcn.com.
Free Talk Live.
Yeah, so basically what you're saying is, Sarah, that you believe that the moon does have oxygen, that it does have an atmosphere, that everything that we've ever been told about it...
water?
Of course. It has light.
Everything we've ever been told about the moon has been a lie, is what you're saying.
You know you can look at this thing, right? Like you can go out with a telescope and you can look at it, right?
So you have to be on the satellite. If you go up to the satellite and drink your urine and take rag baths and all that, and you can take pictures of the moon when you're up on the satellite, but you cannot say anything because they'll kill you.
Hold on a second. Hold on. So you're saying if you go up into a satellite, which people don't do because satellites are just basically electronic equipment that transmit things. But if you were to go up into a satellite, that you would then be able to take a picture of the things that are on the moon.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Possibly time for you and your thoughts if you call in now. In studio tonight, it's Darryl,
Jonny Ray,
and Mark.
And this November, I will be running in the world's biggest and most popular marathon, the New York City Marathon. I've accepted a spot on Team Innocence Project because I'm passionate about what they do. Since 1989, there have been 353 people in the United States exonerated by DNA testing, including 30 who pled guilty to crimes they did not commit. 20 of those served time on death row. The Innocence Project provided direct representation or critical assistance in 180 of those 353 cases. With your help, the Innocence Project can help even more people who have been wrongly convicted. As part of the team, I'm raising awareness about wrongful convictions and raising funds to help free the innocent. I've already paid the race registration fee, but I need your help to help me secure my spot on Team Innocence Project in the New York City Marathon.
Because you have to have the charity sponsor you too, right?
Well, kind of. So the way the charities work, the charity gets accepted as an official charity of the New York City Marathon.
Yep.
They get a certain number of spots, and the criteria are, all right, these people can run as long as they raise X amount of money. For this charity, because of the level that they're at, New York City Marathon has gold, silver, bronze, and what are called community sponsors. And there are different tiers of fundraising for each of those sponsors. For Team Innocence Project, I'm responsible for raising $3,500 by the end of November. You can help support Team Innocence Project, help support the Innocence Project, and help me secure my race entry by going to run.freetalklive.com. That's run.freetalklive.com. Let's go to the phones where we've got Sarah calling in from Albuquerque. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yes. Did you know that more high school kids kill themselves while texting and driving rather than getting shot by a gun?
I wouldn't doubt that.
You know?
Sure. Yeah.
Well, the thing about it is that, I think it's about like 176 kids that were killed in New Mexico while texting and driving.
Okay.
That's what I heard over the radio, like 170 or 176. It must be in our state. So what I'm advocating is those
banning
self-driving
teenagers?
automated cars.
Should we just
Well, I
ban
think they're
teenagers and then teenagers can't die?
No, but my point is that self-driving automated cars should be more of a priority than this gun control talk. Because everybody's freaked out, What I'm asking,
They're probably going about as fast as they can, Sarah. I mean, that's one of the difficulties with this is this isn't the kind of tech you want to rush too far, because if somebody will be killed in a self-driving car. And what is going to be the result? Currently, if somebody dies in an automobile accident, we don't sue the automobile manufacturer, but I'll bet my last buck that they're going to try to sue the company that programmed the car.
Well, I was told that they are going to start rolling them out in New Mexico. I heard about it. They have been invited to Albuquerque, so how soon? But the thing is, in the meanwhile, last year only 37,000 people were killed in auto-related crashes.
That's a lot.
They're so afraid of getting sued. 37,000 people in the United States. 37,000. So in the meanwhile, we're so afraid of getting it just so perfect, and everybody's getting killed while texting and driving. It's number one killer for children under age 13. Number one killer for teenagers getting killed in automobiles, not by guns, but not by guns. And then it's like I think it's number one tragic death. All of the traumatic death combined, violent death combined. So, you're right. I mean, but at least they need to come up with auto brakes, sensor brakes, front and back, that they're going to put in Toyota.
Well, or how about we just have levitating sidewalks and then pedestrians can't wind up getting hit by cars?
Look, this tech is on my 2016 Honda.
Do you have Egyptian or Atlantean levitation technology? Do you have memories of that? You know what? If you have levitation technology like we had in Atlantis, we had levitating.
No, I didn't say you make the people levitate. I said you have, sidewalks that are elevated so that they're not at street level. And then there was actually a bill. This is something you might be interested in, Sarah. There was legislation filed by a state rep in New Hampshire that would have actually prohibited autonomous vehicles on public roads in New Hampshire. The committee actually voted to kill that bill. That no one testified in support of the bill. Advocates for the disabled and the trucking industry testified in opposition. Earlier this year, House Transportation passed a prudent testing program for autonomous vehicles unanimously, and that program should go forward. This bill is also in conflict with federal prohibition on states banning autonomous vehicles.
So, there's no prohibition on autonomous vehicles. It sounds to me, Sarah, what you're wanting is some government program to wind up paying everybody to have an autonomous vehicle. Am I hearing you correctly? Or am I just sort of assuming you want the government to pay for it because you want them to pay for everything else?
Well, all the truck drivers, let's say maybe 1 million truck drivers lose their job. I like the universal, the universal payment like I'm on, where everybody gets a check.
Welfare. You're a supporter of welfare.
Well, of socialism. You know what I mean? If people have no job because it's all automated, if their job, I'm about the universal payment. I really am. Because
Sarah, let me ask you this. I've heard a proposal that we institute a universal basic income, but that the people that choose to accept it don't get to vote. Only the people who refuse the universal basic income would be able to vote. What do you think about that proposal?
Well, I mean, we could work that out. But you know what? People can work and volunteer like I do, whatever they feel that is necessary.
Oh, it doesn't matter whether you work or not. It matters whether or not you accept the universal basic income. Every millionaire that wants to accept it can accept it and choose not to vote. But any hobo that says, I don't want to accept it, gets to vote, as long as they're a citizen.
You know what? Our votes, you guys know that our votes are pretty much worthless. I'll take it. If you say you lose your right to vote, it's worthless anyway. We're going to have a civil war. They better give us a universal basic income. We're going to have an outright war. When everybody loses their job, we're going to pick up machine guns and start shooting. So
there's plenty of machine guns.
They better do that.
Are we talking about fully semi-automatic assault weapons with 30-round bump stocks?
You know what? Me getting welfare is not a problem. Everybody's going to find out.
Not for you.
All the retirement.
It's a problem for the people whose money is being stolen to pay for the welfare, but it's not a problem for you.
Well, you know what difference is it? Look, we're losing our retirement. 401k is going to be gone. Am I the one that's stealing that? Okay, if I went out and work, do you think that's supposed to secure our retirement? Our pensions are going to come back? Our 401k is going to completely die.
Hold on. What 401k do you have?
I do not have it, but the people that used to work and they have it, they talk them into putting it into the stock market. It's going to be completely gone when we have a market crash, and they're going to have nothing. You know, it's not my fault. Whether I never worked for 30 years, I've got nothing to do with that. And then you know what?
Right, we're not blaming you for the stock market, Sarah. Nobody on this show is blaming Sarah in Albuquerque on people making bad investment decisions. What we're blaming you for is that you're accepting welfare, and welfare comes from taxation, and taxation is what Frederick Bastiat referred to as legal plunder. It is taking money from people that aren't you, and then you reaping the benefits of that theft. You do understand that, correct?
Oh, you know what? 50% of our taxes are going to war spending. So why are they blaming me?
Well,
I'm not the one that's ruining the
it depends
whole
on what you call our taxes. If you're talking about discretionary spending, then that's true, but it's really only because the Constitution requires the federal government to institute spending for military every 2 years.
Right. Says that no appropriation shall be made for more than 2 years,
but
so
if
they
you
wind up
include
doing
Social
it
Security,
every year.
Medicare, then it gets significantly lower.
Right. And again, Sarah, we are not advocates for war, so we're talking about the tax that you actually wind up benefiting from. Thank you for the call. That's all the time we have for tonight. But we'll be back tomorrow night, as we are every night of the week, and we are always online at freetalklive.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for